a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
It's gonna be a good time, grandson.
It's gonna be a good time, Grandpa.
Another theater festival, the Downtown Urban Theater Festival, and I got this script as one of the submissions, and Cornelius is from Detroit, so he wasn't able to kind of pull everything together. So I was just like, oh, I like this script, and I was like, I'll direct it. And because of my affiliation with the festival, I couldn't do it. So I had to, like, I kind of took it on to like find him another festival, because like I was like, this has to be told. So I did that, and yeah, it was just something about it that was just so, like, the writing is amazing, and like it was so easy for me to see the visuals.
Pieces of glass lodged in my skin, Lord knows where else. So I get to thinking real fast. They'll expect me to act a certain way if I run in there.
I think post-racial is an invention of people who want to push this problem of race to the side. I think they invented that word, so it could be sort of like that in people's minds. I don't think that we're along those lines. I don't think that it's moving as fast as people want to believe. I think it's still there.
Race does not divide us anymore. Only ourselves.
There's still a lot of intolerance. There's a lot of hate and prejudice. It hasn't gotten better. It's gotten better in the sense that we are no longer legislating based on race, but our society is still very deeply troubled by the shadow of racism.
That don't mean you never seen no KKK member before. Except maybe in movie pictures. All that shit happened before his time.
Well, it speaks to the struggles that people that have been marginalized for generations have had to deal with and still deal with to this day.
Even though you think you've gotten past a certain acceptance, a certain belief that a man is a man, a woman is a woman, a person is a person, it's really, there are pockets of racism and prejudice.
You people prefer to be called African American. I guess Afro-American went the way of DeShawn and dinosaur.
When you have people like Donald Sterling has these allegations, I guess, about black people, and these other stories that you hear daily, and how people react with one another, you can still see that there's this undercurrent. It's not as visible and as potent, I guess, as the 60s and 70s, but definitely it's still like this undercurrent that's still very felt and dealt with.
Last thing I want to do is cause y'all in trouble.
But you find a wee bit of it, didn't you? Go on, tell us about it.
The fact that, you know, we still have people who are, you know, part of the KKK and still wear their hoods and still try to intimidate other races. And I think it points the viewer to the right, kind of like to the right direction.
The signal, so the driver next to him had to speed up in order to avoid an accident, because this dude was coming over whether he was invited to or not.
Because I think it opens that gap and allows everybody to see that these problems do exist. Like in a country, after everything that's happened in terms of civil rights progress and all the gains that have been made, first black president, all of these things don't mean anything to the characters in this play and to the country at large.
There's racism just as much as it was back then, but I think it's a lot more hidden. In some ways can be a little bit more dangerous.
think they're always right. Perfect drivers, all of them. No mistakes whatsoever. And where they're going is a hell of a lot more important than my destination, right? With 4 kids, a wife, a cat, and weeds the size of Arkansas doing a shingle dance up my fence. What is it? They want to act like I don't got no place to go? Nothing better to do with my time than to let these jerks in on my lane. The lane it took me 50 minutes to get into? Yeah, right. Dream on!
Being in that position of vulnerability, because I don't have any direct line or correlation to ever being in that type of circumstance. I've never been front and center for any type of racial discrimination. So to be in that position of vulnerability and examining those feelings of what would a man do who has children and a wife and a whole life to get to that could be taken away by this person or these people or this force.
The most challenging thing for me was being a character that is as racist as he is. You know, the first week I had to grapple with being okay with hating while I was on stage. And that's a really difficult thing for me because I'd like to think of myself as a tolerant person. And, you know, in the first week of rehearsal was getting in touch and getting to know hate.
He must have really wound that fella up. If you're gonna go shooting at you wearing one of them KKK hoods, probably did just to scare you.
It's a great script, like I said, well written. It has kind of all of the highs and the lows that, you know, plays are supposed to have. You know, it kind of takes you up and then it brings you down. It takes you up again and it brings you down. And it's definitely great writing, great cast, and DeVante was a great director. So yeah, everything's great. I'm very excited to be a part of the project.
Cornelius trusted me with his work, so that's just like a big thing for me, that someone trusts my artistry enough to let me kind of take on that burden. It's the most humbling and the most grateful thing I can ever express.
After college, you were hot on my trail. Finally, I ran out of gas.
Yeah. I know the feeling.
It's what I like to call theater with a purpose or with a message.
It's all carved from those same dislocations. Motherfuckers refusing to learn from the mistakes of the past. They think they're always right. But they're wrong. They're all terribly wrong when it comes to this problem of relating to one another. And if we keep cutting off the parts of ourselves that make us human and American and indivisible, we just might wake up and find that we have a corpse instead of a country. A corpse mutilated beyond recognition and eaten away from the inside out by a cancerous dislocation.